Hey guys, what is up? So I decided to make a storytime video about the time I injured my knee, which is still kind of an ongoing problem, but I'm getting there slowly. I'm getting back on track. I'm a lot better than I was. But I thought I'd make this video as like a starting point because me and Jess haven't had a lot of time to meet up and plan some stuff. But we will have more time coming up because we're back at college next week, and then, you know, we have days off and stuff like that. So we'll have more time coming up to film and get stuff made, because some of the stuff we will make will be in conjunction with college like it has been previously. But until then, I thought I'd make this video because it's something I can do obviously by myself, and I've been considering doing it for quite a while because I did film a lot of stuff on my Instagram during my injury process, because it was something that was very hard for me, and at the end of the day I came out quite lucky and I didn't suffer any major damage. But there were times where it was really hard, and I did get some things filmed on camera. So I thought I'd do a storytime video. So hope you enjoy, let me know what you think, and here we go. So back in September 2018, it was just after my sister's birthday and I was at college, and I slipped coming downstairs. And it was wet outside, so my shoes were wet and I wasn't in the best shoes anyway. So I slipped coming downstairs, and as I slipped I twisted my leg. It was my right knee, so I twisted it and I hit the outside of my leg against the wall, which is initially where I had all the problems because, you know, it was bruised, it really hurt and I couldn't bend my leg. And then I think after a few days the inside of my knee started to hurt, which is obviously where like all loads of ligaments are and stuff. So with my history, because I have hypermobility, which is where your muscles and ligaments are extra stretchy and can move a bit more, and with my history of injuries, we gave it a few days to see if it would ease off, and it didn't. And you know, my dad's got enough problems himself, so he couldn't really sit in A&E with me, and my mum is finishing up a uni course, so she couldn't take the time off, and they feel really bad for it, but I assured them it was fine. So I decided, I took it upon myself to go to A&E with my 19-year-old sister. So I went to college on Tuesday morning, because that's all I am, and then after college my sister met me and we walked over to the hospital very slowly, may I add, because at this point, you know, it hadn't eased off. I could barely walk, I could barely move my knee, and I was in a lot of pain and it was swollen. So we went to A&E. We got quite lucky in the fact that it wasn't a long wait until we saw a nurse. You know, they saw us, they were really friendly, asked me some questions about how I did it and stuff, and upon examining my knee, he decided that he didn't think there was any breaks because of where my pain was, but obviously because of the mechanism of injury, he wanted to rule that out. But he was then saying if it's not broken, there could be other problems. So we'll get the x-ray done, see where that leads us. So like I've been many times before, they sent me for an x-ray. Again, wasn't a long wait. The x-rays were quite painful in the fact that I had to bend my leg and move it to get the right shot, which was quite painful because obviously, again, my knee was swollen and bruised and messed up. So we then went back to wait in the waiting room, and again we got quite lucky in the fact there wasn't a long wait. Normally really is a long wait because Bedford Hospital was really busy, especially at that time of year. So we saw the same nurses again, and I could tell that something was wrong because they went, so the good news is it's not broken. However, and it's the way he said however, and I was like, okay, I've done something. He said, I can't tell you that there's no ligament or muscle or tendon damage. You know, you could have done something there. So to protect it, we're going to put you in a leg brace. They put me in what they call a cricket brace, which is a rigid brace. So at this point I'm just showing you how to put on my brace. I always start with the straps at the bottom just because it made it easier to put my brace on, and it actually held it in place better. And then I move on to the ones at the top. I made sure it was quite tight because obviously you needed to stay on, because I chose to walk without crutches. Which is why I've also done, there's an extra strap in the middle of the brace around my kneecap, because it just gave me a bit more support when I needed it while I was walking. And then the bandana at the top I put on because where the strap sat was a little low, so there was a bit of foam at the top that kept catching on the brace, so I put the bandana there to hold it all in place so I didn't catch it during the day. So this is how I had to put my brace on every day, or every time I took it on and off. Literally strapped me into it and said, we're going to give you a fracture clinic appointment for a week's time. So I was in that for a week, and then I went to my fracture clinic appointment and I saw an orthopedic surgeon / doctor, which is a bone doctor, and obviously they deal with like ligaments and stuff as well. And again, he examined it, he looked at my x-rays and said basically what the nurse said: I can't rule out any ligament and muscle damage, so I want to send you for an MRI. And I was like, okay, because I know how long these things can take. You can either get really, really lucky and get them straight away, or it can be months. And obviously I was in a lot of pain, and going from being able to go running each day and messing about to not even being able to walk or go upstairs or, you know, just bend my leg really was difficult. So he sent me for an MRI, and it was just a waiting game of getting the MRI date. And yeah, so I then got quite lucky in the fact that I got an MRI for like 2 weeks after that. So I went and had my MRI, and again, it's quite not funny, but I've had an MRI on my right knee before, after I injured it a while ago, a few years ago. So, you know, just laid there for 45 minutes. The irony of the story is the MRI guy that did my MRI, so the radiographer, actually when he was looking at my notes, when he was taking me, he was like, yeah, Dharma, I recognise the name. I'm like, well, you probably recognise the surname because both my sisters and my mum have had, you know, x-rays and stuff like that before. And he was like, oh, okay. And then, so, you know, I laid down for 45 minutes while he did my x-rays, my MRI. I tried my hardest not to fall asleep. It was very loud, but again, I wanted to know what I'd done to my knee. He came back in and said, yeah, that's all good, you're good to go. I knew I'd seen you. I x-rayed your finger 5 years ago. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I wasn't going to remember that, mate. So he's already looked me up. He's obviously looked me up when I was having my MRI. So yeah, anyway, we then left, and it was just a case of waiting because the MRI results could take ages to come through, and it's also about getting another appointment. So we then got another appointment, I think it was about 4 weeks after that.
So we are now an hour early to my appointment because the one time we find a car space because the van pulled out. So now we've got an hour wait, and I haven't eaten again. So so the bad thing is someone's just written something on the board, which means they're like half an hour behind already. So it could be a long day. Okay, so they have 2 main rooms that are listed on the board, and now the other one has a note saying doctors are still on ward rounds. They've only just started the clinic, and now they're behind. I don't know why they start the clinics at 10 o'clock, because they never actually start at 10 o'clock, because they're always on ward rounds and stuff like that, so they always get behind, so I'm not
after that. So by the time I got this appointment, I'd been in the brace for nearly 7 weeks. So imagine being in a rigid leg brace for nearly 7 weeks. You're going to lose like a lot of movement in your knee. Obviously I took it off when I slept and I had shower and stuff, so I did have a bit of movement in it, but it was stiff and painful. Wasn't really getting any better in my opinion. If anything, it felt like it was getting worse. So I was quite relieved when I went to the hospital. So for the actual appointment, I saw the same doctor again. I went in, he kind of talked me through the MRI results. The good news is, you know, there wasn't any ligament damage, there wasn't any muscle damage or tendon damage or anything like that. So we're just putting it down to a a knee sprain, basically ligament sprain, which can be just as bad because it can take a long time to heal. So he said, I want to take you out the brace, don't wear the brace. The only time I could wear the brace was when I worked, because obviously I'm on my feet at work, and if I wore the brace and stood in the same place, then I could still work. So I was allowed to wear it for a few hours at the weekend so I could still work. But no, so he took me out the brace and said, gradually weight bear using crutches, try and ease yourself off the crutches within the next week, and we'll get you to physio. So we were like, okay, good. Walking out of the hospital with a bit of a challenge, because again, I'd not been on my knee properly without support for 7 weeks. And using crutches for me, it was also difficult because a few years ago, I don't know if you can see the scar, I had surgery on my right wrist because I had an issue in it. So, you know, weight bearing and putting my hand on like that on a crutch isn't the easiest thing for me. But I did it, and I eased myself off within a couple of days because I was just getting tired of using them and I was achy and sore. So at this point I had a lift pass at college, so I was relatively back to normal in the sense that I could walk again and I had a bit more mobility. Coming out the brace was actually more painful because obviously I was using my knee more. But I slowly got back to how I was. Physio, something I've had a lot in the past because again, obviously I'm hypermobile. I've had a lot of injuries and issues in the past. So I actually got seen in the adult unit now because I'm 16. So I didn't have to travel as far because I would have had to travel all the way to the other side of Kempston. So this one was actually located in Bedford, which makes it so much easier. So I saw my physio a couple of times. She gave me some exercises. She was really nice. She examined my knee, took on what the doctor had said, and basically said, right, we'll give you some exercises to strengthen your muscles and your ligaments, just to get that strength back and work your strength back up. So I did that, and after a few weeks,
one of the exercises I had to do was bend my knees like shown in the video, and arch my back up and down because it built the strength in my leg. This was me messing about with my friend, and this is my uncle's dog who I was dog sitting at my nan's. So I messed about with him and added the extra weight to challenge myself. So yeah, here's the funny outcome.
I did that, and after a few weeks she said, okay, so we actually have a lower limb group, which is a group that you meet with other people with other lower limb injuries. It's basically leg injuries, and they're exercises aimed for all of you that you can do that strengthens it. So you can either do it once a week for 6 weeks or twice a week for 12 weeks. I got put on the once a week for 6 weeks. I'm actually nearly done. I started January 3rd. It was hard at first. You know, it's like a workout, not using your muscles much and then being thrown into a workout. But it definitely has helped. I'm now on my 6th/7th because they couldn't fit me in 1 week, so I've had to move it. But I'm on my 6th and final session this week. Probably by the time I'm posting this, I'll be done. And I'm feeling so much better. I'm back to running. I'm back to goofing about. Obviously, I still get pain in it and it still flares up. But again, I got quite lucky in the injury I had. So that could take a while to actually get back to normal. But I'm good. I'm getting there, which I'm really happy about. So I'm getting back to how I was, and I'm being able to do more, which I think in terms of what actually happened is really good. I feel good in terms of my knee. Like, it was a very emotional roller coaster for me because literally you don't take walking for granted until you can't do it. I'm not saying that, you know, there are people who are much worse off than I was, but it was very emotional in my terms of view because I went from being able to do everything to not being able to do anything really. So it was very emotional, which again you've probably seen throughout this in my videos that I filmed.
I'm not going to be active for the rest of the day because I'm just really upset right now and in a bad mood. I mean, I'm probably upset for like no reason. my knee brace broke again, and until it gets fixed I can't do anything, I can't walk, so that's great, and my knee's just getting me down. So obviously my knee's been fucked like this for like 5 weeks already, 5-6 weeks already, and I still have just under 2 weeks. I see them again and I don't know what they're going to say, so it could be even longer. So it's just, yeah, I think the thing that's really getting me down with my knee is that obviously I don't know what they're going to say when I go back, because I could be told that to come out the brace and just start walking, or I could be told that I need to wear a brace for longer, or I could be told I need surgery, so I just don't know. So I'm going to take a break and hope that tomorrow's a better day. So yeah, it was a bit shocking to see how hard it actually hit me. Like, I knew it was hard on myself, but watching these videos is a bit like it hit home a bit. And just to see how far I've come in just a few months, I'm really proud of myself, and I just hope I get stronger and better. But I had obviously my family were great, my friends were amazing, college was awesome, they were very understanding. You know, I had a few days off through appointments and just not being able to go in because my leg was too bad. But no, it was really good, and I'm just happy and thankful to actually not have done any major damage, because it could have been a lot worse. I'm most likely going to feel this injury for quite a while, and I will probably it will flare up throughout my lifetime, because the condition I do have, the hypermobility, I still feel it from the previous injuries I've done. But then again, it's just a case of keeping up my physio exercises, keeping up the strength, building the strength, and hopefully getting to a point where I'm actually happy with everything. But no, my physio has been great, my doctors were amazing, and I'm so happy that I didn't do major damage. So yeah guys, thanks for watching. This has been the story time video on how I hurt my knee. In other words, how I was an idiot and hurt my knee. But leave a comment on what you thought, and yeah, thanks for watching guys.